Am I the a-hole for insulting my sister 35 female after she photoshopped my daughter's 14 female pictures? Am I the a-hole for clinging to my husband at a party and not letting someone speak to him privately? Am I the a-hole for wanting my fiance's sister out of the wedding? Am I the a-hole for insulting my sister 35 female after she photoshopped my daughter's 14 female pictures? Throwaway, I, 37 female, have a little sister named Valerie and a wonderful daughter named Lucy. As Lucy has entered her teen years, she has become a lot more self-conscious. She constantly compares herself to friends at school, celebrities, etc. I currently have her attending therapy, and I also try my best to remind her that she's beautiful just the way she is. Valerie took her daughter and Lucy to the mall yesterday. When Lucy got back home, I asked how her day went. She smiled and said that she had a good time. About 3 hours later, I went into Lucy's room to put some of her clothes away. When I opened her door, I saw Lucy laying in her bed crying. I asked her what happened. She pulled out her phone and showed me some pics that Valerie had posted on social media. Valerie had posted pics of herself, her daughter, and Lucy hanging out at the mall. Lucy then pointed out that Valerie had obviously photoshopped her. She made her complexion clearer, her teeth whiter, and even slimmed in her waist. Lucy also pointed out that Valerie only photoshopped her in the pics. Lucy dropped her phone on the ground and cried her eyes out. Eventually, Lucy told me that she just wanted to be alone for a while. I left and went outside because I was ready to unleash on Valerie. I called her and demanded to know why she would alter Lucy's image. She got defensive and said, "Last time I checked, I could post whatever I want on my account." I told her about how crushed Lucy was when she saw the pics. Valerie doubled down and told me that she was simply making Lucy look better. I told her that Lucy is fine just the way she is, and I don't appreciate her destroying Lucy's confidence. We kept yelling at each other and things continued to escalate. Valerie yelled that she doesn't want her daughter around Lucy because I'm a drama queen. I yelled back, "Good, I don't want my daughter to be around a dollar store Instagram slot anyway." She told me to go fox myself, hung up on me and blocked me everywhere. I haven't mentioned this conversation to Lucy because she's stressed out enough already. My husband says that I went too far and that I should have been more mature since I'm the big sister. Am I the a-hole?
NTA, et al. Your husband is wrong 1000%. Good on you for defending a good self-image for your daughter and sending her to therapy as well. Her attitude towards her own body is very detrimental long-term. Does she have a hobby? It could help her grow her self-esteem for reasons separated from her appearance, which could also help. And sister blocked you everywhere. Trash took itself out, don't even worry about her. Sorry, except your daughter and husband. Your sister was 1000% in the wrong. She should not have photoshopped your daughter. Nope, never. But then, lady, you took the fast path to the low road. Calling your sister or niece, it's not clear, worse if it's the niece, a dollar store Instagram slut is unnecessary. Two wrongs do not make a right, and this is a horrible model on how to handle conflict for your daughter. You both need to apologize. NTA, your sister may have the right to post whatever she wants on her own social media, but she can't expect people not to be upset by what she posts. Especially as an aunt and a mother herself, she should be sensitive about posting content that destroys the self-esteem of young women and girls. She posted what she wanted onto her social media and revealed herself as a terrible aunt. She then feigned ignorance when you called her and tried to paint you as the bully when she bullied your daughter first, classic Darvo. Arguing with someone using Darvo tactics is frustrating and often will result in loss of control, allowing the other people to further pretend they're the victim and you're the offender. That's on top of again, she bullied your daughter by editing the photos, suggesting that your daughter isn't pretty enough without digital assistance. Her defense that she did it to make your daughter look better is very incriminating. Why does Lucy need to look better? Lucy is beautiful already. But your sister literally and clearly said she thinks Lucy isn't pretty enough, and you're right, Lucy shouldn't have to associate with someone who would openly demean her looks. NTA, but maybe there's more than therapy you can do to help. When I was 14 I wished I could look better, but my mom kept insisting I was fine how I was, which was pretty disheartening actually. I feel like it dismissed my feelings and didn't make me feel any prettier. Instead I would find out what she's insecure on and help her reach her goals. If it's her teeth maybe you can do whitening strips together, although I suggest coconut oil pulling as it's cheaper and easier on teeth, or doing little workouts together, even if it's just taking walks and showering her how to eat healthy. Maybe take her to Sephora so she can learn a bit about makeup, or if you think she's too young, bring her to a hairdresser for a new look. This is an opportunity for you to introduce her into womanhood with some bonding experiences. And possibly if she feels better about herself she'll stop comparing and grow into the person she's meant to be. Also your sister's a complete asshole, just so we're clear.
Am I the a-hole for clinging to my husband at a party and not letting someone speak to him privately? We were invited to a party on a Saturday, but I really didn't want to go. I'm pregnant and I feel tired and emotional all the time, and the last thing I wanted to do was spend time at this party. Usually, in these types of parties, there's a signal which tells the majority of us to disappear, while a select few discuss business. I hate it because when my husband is around everyone, it's perfectly nice, but the second I'm alone, some people can be extremely catty. I told my husband I didn't want to go, but he told me it was important for him to go, and he promised not to leave my side the entire time. So we went, and then the signal came and everyone not wanted was getting up to leave, but my husband kept his arm around my waist so I couldn't exactly leave, and it was awkward as hell because it was obvious they wanted to talk privately, and my husband was acting like it was no big deal and ignoring the awkwardness. It happened a few times during the night, but he kept his promise and stayed near me the entire time. This one man, Frank, was getting visibly frustrated that I wasn't disappearing, and he kept indirectly trying to tell my husband he wanted to speak to him privately, but my husband was acting like he didn't get the hint. Then at one point, I needed to use the restroom. So I excused myself and Frank's wife followed me there and told me off for clinging to my husband and not giving him and Frank some time to talk privately. She asked me if I would just give them 30 minutes because Frank had something important he needed to discuss with my husband. I'm friends with his wife, so I felt bad, but I said no and went straight back to my husband. Frank and his wife were giving me dirty looks for the rest of the evening. And the next morning, my sister-in-law told me Frank's wife was complaining about me to people for how I behaved. Am I the a-hole?
NTA. If Frank wants to talk to your husband, Frank can call up your husband and ask to get together so they can talk about the thing. Or heck, Frank can just open his mouth at the party and ask for 5 minutes alone like a big boy. This entire social circle and their weird, outdated let's give the boys an opportunity to handle business in the back vibe sounds exhausting, and I think you and your husband need new friends. What the fuck is this? Madmen? First of all, this concept of a party is super weird and from what you've said kind of sexist on the ground. If this is a work party, why are they not discussing business at work? If this is some sort of social gathering outside of work, do they not understand how phones and emails work? They can set up a meeting on their own time. This whole situation is just weird, but I'm going with NTA. At the end of the day, it seems like it was meant as a business opportunity for your husband, and he set his own terms clearly. Not your fault for not getting out of the way so the menfolk could talk. What the fuck? Slightly ESH. Why couldn't you stay home and hubby go alone? Was this a business work party? Was the intent of this party for them to have that time for discussion? If so, you and hubby should have followed the normal. If this was just a friends type party and certain members were wanting time to discuss business, that's not so bad. Your husband could have deferred them to business hours. You state you had your SIL present and could have talked to her. There was no need monopolize your husband. However, the wife confronting you in the bathroom was catty and uncalled for. Kudos to your husband for making a deal to stay by you and following through. Most of these types posts have the opposite happen. NTA it's a social event, and if any of them want to discuss business they should do it during office hours. I don't even know why anybody would put up with a group at which a signal is given and a small group gathers privately to conduct business. What is this organized crime? I mean really, it sounds like a drug cartel. Who does business like that? Is this like those scenes in the Godfather movies, where people take turns asking the Godfather for favors? Why would any respectable person have anything to do with people like that? Sorry, but this is how business is done in certain circles. Ignoring it could make your husband's and your life much more difficult. I get not being well, but then you should have stayed home instead of this immature class act you both put on. Your husband is even more of an he could have gone alone. Being pregnant and unwell is a perfect excuse not to attend. Frank and his wife are also somewhat AHS for not reading the situation correctly. The biggest is your hubby. He's a big boy. He doesn't need you holding his hand to attend places like this. You only get a slight pass because you were unwell. Your husband was being chill and accommodating to you too, which is nice to hear. The issue comes with the GT Skull and Bones party you were at. Why are there secret signals and hidden messages? Were you at a party with people with social disorders? It's very regular to just say, we're gonna have a quick chat. Or something like that. There's some odd stuff going on here, and it has nothing to do with you being uncomfortable in this situation. I'm pretty outgoing most of the time, and I'd be weirded out as hell if like every time someone said candlestick or rang a silver bell or whatever the heck all of a sudden half the people in the room leave. What does Frank need to say that he has to hide from his friend's wife? You didn't even do anything. Your husband showed he would not leave you alone because he promised he wouldn't. A+ man right there for straight up ignoring hints too, cause he had your back solid and they got mad and even tried to blame you for it. If it actually mattered for your husband to talk alone to someone, it sounds like he would have let you know, but honestly they could call or text him the stuff if it were important. Don't let their cattiness get to you. You nor your husband did anything wrong. Frank isn't entitled to your husband's time unless your husband is on the clock and being paid by Frank.
Am I the a-hole for wanting my fiance's sister out of the wedding? My fiance, 24 female, and I, 24 male, just recently got engaged, so we have started to pick out our wedding party. Yesterday, my fiance said she wanted her sister, 22 female, to be her maid of honor. Her sister lived with us for a while when she was going to college, which is near our apartment. Due to certain issues with her school's housing, we agreed to let her stay with us, as it would only be for a semester. I had only met her a few times before this, but she seemed nice. However, once she moved in with us, that's where things started. She would say things like, "You would look good in that," or "I wish I could find someone like you." During the few months, it divulged into her accidentally walking in on me in the shower, spilling things on me so that I have to change clothes, saying that she should be in my fiance's shoes, and constantly making comments about my body. I told my fiance about these things multiple times because it made me uncomfortable, but she kept dismissing me. I also brought these concerns to her sister, but she kept playing it off as a joke. Nothing changed, but luckily, she moved out once she could go back to the dorms. When my fiance mentioned that she wanted her sister as MOH, I said I'm not comfortable with that. I told her everything. I've brought it up before and said that her sister might try to ruin the wedding because of this huge crush, if that's even the right word, that she has on me. I also said that maybe I'd be okay with she being involved in the wedding in some other way, but I don't feel comfortable with her being that involved and so close to both of us. I said that it's her choice, but that is how I feel about it. So my fiance said, "I've told you before, this is normally how she is. I want to keep her as my MOH. Then I said, "What if you were uncomfortable around my brother, best man? Wouldn't you want him to be out of the wedding party?" She said, "Well, yeah, but that's your brother we're talking about, so it actually makes sense." For context, my brother is married with kids, and he is a truly nice guy. My fiance has met him plenty of times, and not once has he done anything that would make her uncomfortable, nor has my fiance brought up concerns about him. So I said, "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" And she said, "I mean, I just don't like him very much. It's nothing against him." So I told her that there is a double standard here. My brother could get kicked out of the wedding party for just my fiance not liking him, while his sister can't get kicked out of it for her practically sexually harassing me. I said that she should understand that I want our wedding to go well. So that means I want us to enjoy ourselves without questioning if something will go wrong. She said, I get that, but having my sister as my MOH would make me happy. I said that if she won't take my happiness into account, then I'm leaving. So as I was leaving, she told me that I was an a-hole. Reddit, am I the a-hole?
NTA there's no practically sexually harassed you, she flat out sexually harassed you. At the time this was happening your concerns and feelings were being dismissed. Nothing's changed, your feelings still don't matter. There's definitely a double standard, her feelings and her sister come before you. In the future, do you see the sister's behavior getting better or worse? In the future, do you see you and your feelings being put first? Is this where you want your life to be for the next 10, 20, 30 or more years? Maybe put things on hold and go to couples counseling. NTA. What I am saying is extreme, but don't go through with the marriage. SA is not some silly joke, your fiancé is completely disregarding you and your feelings. What if the sister pulls kind of bigger thing in future? Will your fiancé always keep dismissing it? Or blame you? On top it's your marriage as well. Your fiancé cannot be the one to decide who will come and who won't and then make someone come who makes you uncomfortable. Please leave her if she can't even understand the basic meaning of consent and how it's not some silly joke. NTA I think her sister is gross and it's so disappointing that your fiancé does not see this. This makes her gross, too. There shouldn't be a if the tables were turned conversation. Sexual harassment is sexual harassment. I would be beyond furious if my sister treated my husband this way. Your fiancé doesn't seem to have your best interests at heart. Warning bells will tell me that if her sister can't be her MOH then your brother can't be your best man. I don't think this bodes well for the future. Has she been dismissive before? If not, maybe it starts with your sexual harassment experience. What if one of you gets sick? You'll have her back, will she have yours? Do you plan on having kids? Will she dismiss you when it comes to parenting big financial decisions? You want someone on your side. And if you can't agree, then someone willing to make compromises that favor both your needs. Just remember what you experienced was real. It's gross. It's not your fault. And you deserve someone on your side. This sounds like a case of I don't actually care about a marriage, I just want to throw a giant $50,000 party that's all about me. I wouldn't marry this girl. You weren't her priority when you were being sexually harassed. It sounds like you're going to get little to no input in her dream wedding. How will that affect you? What about this woman and your relationship is so incredible that it would be worth saving? How is she absolutely the only one for you? I would sit down and really think about it. And then I'd think about what she does for you, how she shows her appreciation, the little ways she says how she loves you. If they don't match or make sense you might just be a means to an end. There are a lot of people out there who care more about having an Instagram-worthy perfect wedding than the relationship that's supposed to follow. NTA Reddit may be gung-ho in terms of telling people to end their relationship over one incident. But this is clearly not one incident. You've brought up multiple times your discomfort to your fiancé who dismissed you at every turn. Pay attention to how she suddenly brought up disliking your brother, distracting you from your initial point. Your brother's integrity clearly has no relevance to the conversation you were trying to have with your partner. But she clearly knew weaponizing his role would hurt and upset you. Forget trying to defend yourself from your would-be SIL, you're now having to defend your brother. Do you want this for the rest of your life? Your discomfort, pain, and disrespect dismissed by the one person you chose to be your safe space. Your hurt being weaponized against you until you submit from being mentally and emotionally exhausted from just defending yourself. Do you remember why you had this conversation with her in the first place? Is there any solution in sight with her cooperation? You deserve more. You should choose yourself rather than this garbage person who can't look farther than her and her family. Because clearly, she doesn't see you as her family.